Hey everybody, Josh here, and as promised, I have finished reading Dark Disciple, and I'm going to review it tonight. And ordinarily, I try to keep my book reviews as spoiler-free as I can, but this one was so good, I decided I gotta talk about it and just converse at everything that happened in this one because, wow, it absolutely blew my mind. It's probably the best Star Wars novel we've gotten in 10 years. So, the first thing is, I'm not totally caught up on Clone Wars. So, I'm not fully acquainted with Ventress and her entire history. I know, she's a Night Sister from Dathomir, and her and Dooku are, they don't see eye to eye. She hates him. She's tried to kill him multiple times. So that's as far as I've gotten. At first, while reading this, I was like, man, that seems really out of character for Ventress. How quickly she built this relationship with Voss. And so I'm like, well, I don't know. And it took me a second to, come to terms with this version of Ventress that I wasn't familiar with, because I haven't watched all of Clone Wars, so I don't know if later on, if she becomes more accepting of other people and more open to building a friendship, because it really seems like they build a pretty fast friendship. And Voss, when they first meet, he's really goofy and he's kind of in the way, but she finds him kind of endearing, and they build a super fast friendship. And once I kind of, put my preconceptions about Ventress aside, this book absolutely flew by and I fell in love with it. The other thing I loved about this book is the entire time I'm reading it, I know basically how it's going to end. It's like watching the movie Titanic. You know the ship is going to sink, but you're kind of just dreading that moment, like, oh God, okay, who's going to die? Because the entire time you're reading it, somebody's going down. And I'm like, all right, if it's Voss, okay, I really like Voss. I liked him in the Clone Wars. I think I have his action figure tucked away somewhere. He's one of my favorite Jedi, even though he hasn't been featured a whole lot. But I really liked Ventress, everything that I've seen of her. So I was like, man, I really hope Ventress doesn't die. So the last couple of chapters were really heartbreaking, because that relationship and their love story was actually, for a Star Wars novel, it was absolutely amazing. And I thought Christie Golden, the author, captured the character of Obi-Wan and Anakin specifically very, very, and Dooku, really. She captured those three characters very well. Again, I can't really speak to Ventress because I just don't know enough about her, but you guys can let me know in the comments how you felt about that. But I thought, for by and large, she captured every character very, very well. The one I'm really not sold on is Mace Windu, because he comes across as borderline dark side, like he kind of does in the prequels. But in this book, Dark Disciple, he really comes across as he's got one foot on the dark side. Like, he is totally pro-assassinating Dooku. And I'm like, wow, that's a very un-Jedi thing to do. And then he's very pro-executing them, both Voss and Dooku, without a trial. And I'm like, wow, that's very un-Jedi of you, Mace. And so I'm just not sure that I really cared for that characterization, but he's a very minor character in this one, so I got over that pretty quickly. The only thing I can say that really genuinely bothered me, though, about the book is the Jedi Council. They just come across as complete imbeciles, like every decision they make is wrong. And yeah, their judgment is clouded by this dark side presence of Darth Sidious and everything that's going on with the Clone Wars, so their ability to use the Force has been hindered, which they said in the prequels, but that it seems a little exaggerated in this book, and that bothered me more than anything. Everything else, I got over the Mace thing pretty quick. I got over the Ventress thing really quick, and I absolutely love the story. The language in this and just the style. It's probably the most literary Star Wars book we've ever gotten. And it's definitely the best book from the new canon so far. And like I said, in the beginning of the video, it's probably the best Star Wars book we've gotten in the last 10 years. I really hope we get more of Voss's story going forward, because I think his redemption, his story of redeeming himself, I think that would be really, really interesting. I want to see that continued. And, I mean, of course, It's a science fiction universe. Nobody's ever really dead, so I would love to see Ventress come back. Especially this version of Ventress. Alright, so I would love to know what you guys thought of Dark Disciple. I absolutely loved it. This one, I mean, not a whole lot of books are rereadable. This one I would definitely classify as rereadable. And if you've watched this review and you haven't read it yet, I'm really sorry about the spoilers, but I did warn you at the beginning of the video. But still, check it out. It's absolutely worth it. And like I said, it's like watching Titanic. You know what's going to happen the whole time, and you're just waiting for for it to hit that iceberg. And then when it does, it still manages to break your heart. I have two other things Star Wars related I want to talk about. First of all, I want to talk about Lando #1. This was a great comic. It was the Lando story that I never knew I always wanted. It was absolutely perfect. The ending was the best cliffhanger I've seen in a comic book for a while. So if you haven't checked out Lando #1 and you're a Star Wars fan, definitely pick it up. It's well worth the read. And finally, I want to talk about Kanan the Last Padawan. This is one of the best comic books on shelves right now. It's really interesting to see what Kanan was like immediately after Order 66 was issued, and how he's on the run and he's becoming an outlaw, and how he's learning to survive without revealing himself to be a Jedi. It's super interesting. I'm really enjoying it. It's basically told as a flashback. So you get a little bit of, a very little bit of present day Kanan, and then mostly, prequel land Kanan. Also, next week Star Wars #7 is coming out, and that's going to be a flashback to Ben Kenobi on Tatooine and the adventures he had there while he's kind of looking over Luke. That's going to be really interesting, even though I really wanted to see the follow-up to #6 where they revealed Han Solo's wife, because holy shit, what a reveal. And now it's going to be basically 2 months before we get the follow-up to that, and I really wanted to see what was going to happen with that, especially how Leia reacts, because oh my god. Also, Princess Leia, the comic book series is now over. I thought it was 4 or 5 parts. That one's concluded. That was a great story. If you didn't read Princess Leia, you need to run out and get those right now, because it was absolutely great. And finally, Darth Vader's going on. And that's another... Everything Star Wars related right now is phenomenal. So seriously, if you're jonesing for some Star Wars and you're waiting for The Force Awakens to come out, man, go to the comic book shop, go to the bookstore. There is so much out there right now, and it's all good. Alright, I think that's it for this video. Just a heads up, we're running a subscriber giveaway for when we hit 250 subscribers, and here's how it's going to work. All you have to do is A, subscribe to our channel, and B, share a video, any one of our videos. It can be this video, it doesn't matter. That makes you eligible for the giveaway. Now, what is the giveaway? First of all, you will get to choose one of these 3 comics. The Walking Dead #1 variant from Nashville Comic Con, that would be Wizard World Nashville. Or the Walking Dead #1 variant from Chicago Comic Con. That's in color. And we also have the black and white version of that same Wizard World Chicago Walking Dead #1 variant. You'll get to choose one of those. In addition, we are going to Fanboy Expo tomorrow, actually, and we're going to get Jeremy Bulloch, Boba Fett himself's autograph, and we'll have an 8x10 signed of him, and you will get that as well. So you get a Walking Dead #1 variant from a Wizard World Con and an autographed picture of Boba Fett. So I hope you guys are really excited for this giveaway. I know Anna and I both are. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and share any one of our videos. Alright, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.